Mario Kart World has a ton of new characters to the game, from Mario enemies and side characters from past games, and of course your mainstays. But how many characters are actually in the game? Well, I've seen a lot of people posting different numbers, but we don't really have an exact number because there's a lot more than you actually think. Thanks to Nintendo's brand new Treehouse, they showed a little bit more information as to what we can expect from the character roster and exactly how many characters there could end up being. So we're going to reveal every single character that we know so far, even some that you probably didn't even see yet. Not to mention, we're going to be talking about what characters are left to be added and how many total characters are we even going to have. Now, before we get started, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. A lot of you watching right now are not yet subscribed. You guys brought in 396 brand new subscribers, so let's see if we can beat that today with even more. Thank you guys so much, and let's dive into the new roster of Mario Kart World. Now, during the Treehouse, you'll see this character select screen, and what's interesting is this seems to be a different character select screen than I've seen from other people that's playing the game at the event right now, where these characters are shuffled and changed around, which makes me believe that you have to actually unlock all the characters in the game, or at least a good chunk of them, because one had Pauline towards the top, another one had Daisy on a completely different page. So yeah, I guess it just depends on when you unlock these characters, or really how, because we don't know that yet. But also, you might see 7 slots at the bottom thinking, oh my gosh, does that mean that there's 12 characters on each page giving us 84 total characters? No, not necessarily, because hopefully this is just something for this actual Treehouse and for the demo for people. But apparently there's characters with alternate costumes in their own slots on the different pages. Now, I absolutely hate this. I hope this is not the case when it's actually done, because man, I do not want to go through pages and pages of just Mario costumes that can seriously just be, you know, tacked on to Mario's character once you click it. So yeah, that's kind of weird to me, and it's giving the false impression that there's like this certain amount of characters in the game. So don't go off of the slots. Also, something I thought I'd add while we're here is thankfully there's no cart parts or anything like that. You straight up just choose a cart, which I think is really good, a great idea. It balances everything. We don't have to worry about all those different carts being in the meta and stuff, changing your tires and your glider. No more of that. You just choose your cart and go. Let's start listing all the characters. This list was put together by Apollo FNC on Twitter, and this is what we have so far. Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, Rosalina, Pauline, Toad, Toadette, Donkey Kong, Yoshi, Birdo, Bowser, Bowser Jr., Wario, Waluigi, Lakitu, Koopa Troopa, Dry Bones, Baby Peach, Baby Daisy, Baby Rosalina, Baby Mario, and Baby Luigi, Shy Guy, King Boo, Wiggler, Goomba, Spike, Sidestepper, Hammer Bro, Chargin' Chuck, Cataquack, Bitty Bud, Nabbit, Dolphin, Fishbone, Monty Mole, Rocky Wrench, Moo Moo, Mr. Blizzard, which is actually just called Snowman in the game that I've seen so far, Penguin, Peepa, Pianta, Swooper, Sting Bee, Pokey, Cheep Cheep, Piranha Plant, Conkdor, and Coin Coffer. That it gives us 50 total characters in Mario Kart World. Now, there's still a chance that there's a lot more characters that we just haven't seen yet. Now, it truly feels like Nintendo's trying to give us the stuff that we didn't get from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Like everything that the Booster Pass was left out, they're getting now. And it seems like some of the things that were added into the Booster Pass, we aren't getting. For instance, it seems like most of the returning tracks are tracks that didn't make the Booster Pass, like DK Summit and Airship Fortress. Even Wario Shipyard and Toad's Factory is here. So it's kind of telling me that they're trying to give us the stuff that we left out on. Now let's look at the Mario Kart 8 roster and talk about what characters are not here yet. First off, it looks like all the variant characters are gone. Thank God. It looks like these characters might be added as costumes, but no more Tanuki Mario, Cat Peach, Gold Mario, Pink Gold Peach, or even Dry Bowser. It looks like most of the Booster Pass characters and Miis are gone as well. We have PD Piranha gone, but we do have Piranha Plant. Kamek has now been turned into an item, and Peachette is gone as well. Also, surprisingly, all the Koopalings are gone, and so are all the guest characters from other franchises. And so are the Kongs. No Diddy, no Funky. So far, I'd say none of these characters are coming back unless they're doing a really good job at hiding them. I think the only other remaining characters could be some more smaller enemies, but I'm pretty sure we would have seen a Koopaling by now, or Funky or Diddy Kong at least once, and we haven't seen any of them or any other Nintendo franchise characters. Now, what about the Mega roster from Mario Kart Tour? That consists mostly of costume alts for characters, but there are a couple of characters from Tour that we have not seen yet. You could count Captain Toad, but I think he's just going to straight up be another alt, which would work perfectly fine for Toad. No reason to have a completely unique character. We don't have the classic sprite characters like the Mario version and the DK Jr. version, unless those are also going to be alts for those characters. We also don't have King Bob-omb yet, which is a little surprising to me. I think it's a safe bet that if we're not getting any of the other Kongs, we're also not getting Dixie Kong here. The last one from Tour that we haven't seen yet is Poochie, which actually fits the kind of vibes of this game. I'm surprised he's not in here since we have some of the craziest characters and enemies ever driving karts. Why isn't Poochie in here? And we can't leave out two more past characters that I don't think are going to be returning, and that's Rob from the DS, which just doesn't match the Mario theming they seem to really be hammering home here, and also Queen Bee, which doesn't seem to be a basic Mario character or enemy from the games, only appearing in 2 games being Mario Galaxy series. I actually made a video a couple months ago actually explaining every character we could possibly get. I went over like 170 plus characters, and a lot of people thought it was crazy that I even mentioned some of those characters, but look at where we are now. So I think going back and looking at a game like Mario Party 8's Moped Mayhem might give us a hint as to who's coming, because most of those characters are either racers now or have been at least at some point in time. So who's in this scene that's still missing right now? Well, going from left to right, we have a Bob-omb, which we don't have any King Bob-omb or regular Bob-omb, so that would be a great addition. We also don't have any of the Womps or Thwomps. They are huge, but it would be extremely hilarious to see them. We have Flutter, which is technically Wiggler in the game, but Flutter is the butterfly counterpart. We also have Blooper, which would just make so much sense. If we have Piranha Plant and we have Goomba, why not give us Blooper, who was also in Mario Baseball before? And we also have Bandit, which comes from the Paper Mario games and Yoshi's Island. He might be a little too obscure to be put in here. Who knows what Nintendo thinks is obscure and not anymore. We also have the Chimp from the Yoshi's Island games, so they could also add him as well. That definitely feels like a character that can make the cut. Like I previously said, it's actually hilarious that I made this video and like literally a couple months later, Nintendo reveals a lot of the characters that I just talked about in the video, which makes me laugh. And some of them were just so wacky and I thought were crazy additions, but they actually ended up being true. So I kind of want to go back to this video I made and talk about those predictions and see what characters are missing that we still haven't talked about in this video. Well, Boo is not going to happen probably because he's still an item, and also King Boo is there, but we don't have Ninja yet, which is pretty interesting. He's been appearing in recent games like Mario Party Jamboree. So we have Piantas, but we don't have Nokis, so I'm wondering if eventually they'll add them as well, because it seems like the second race that's in Sunshine that's not even represented here. There's still a lot of main characters not being represented here, like how in the world is Coin Coffer in the game, but Egad isn't? Doesn't really make a lot of sense. Also still don't have Toadsworth, which he just kind of fell off the face of the earth, honestly. I would love to see a Chain Chomp make a return. I mean, we had him in Mario Tennis, so why not? And also throw in the Lumas. I mean, we have Rosalina in the game, and there's no sign of Lumas, so maybe different colors of Lumas could be some great alts as well. Maybe Mario Galaxy can get some more reps, like the Gearmos, and also you could throw in the Whittles from Mario Galaxy 2. I think Mario Odyssey deserves more representation. You can throw in literally the Brutals, you can throw in Cappy, Tiara, maybe any of the different kingdom residents as well could work as playable characters. It would make sense since we have things like the penguins and the snowmen, so throw them in as well. They could have thrown in the Sprixies from Mario 3D World, which has lots of different alts based on the worlds as well. And Boom Boom and Pom Pom not being here just feels wrong based on the fact that they're in like every Mario game now. They could also bring back past babies like Baby DK, or make new ones like Baby Wario, Baby Waluigi, maybe even Baby Rosalina. I'm actually surprised they haven't done this yet because they seem to be going baby crazy, especially with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Like I said before, I would love to see more Kongs if they decide to go that route, like just throwing in any of the ones from the Donkey Kong Country games, or maybe even from Donkey Kong 64, throwing in some Kremlings like even King K. Rool. But it seems like they're staying away from like other franchises like the Donkey Kong characters. They just want to go strictly Mario here. I think that's the problem here, is a lot of people are going to be upset that Nintendo's not pulling from, you know, characters from unique franchises that people want to see, like spin-offs, the RPG games, Paper Mario, Mario and Luigi, maybe some of the spin-off 2D games, or like Peach games, Yoshi games, Wario games, like the WarioWare crew, which they definitely should be pulling from some of these characters. Like, I love the idea of all these wacky side characters and enemies from Mario's history, but pulling from actual characters that we cared about and that have story written in for them, like I said, you could have Vivian from Paper Mario, any of the other partners and stuff would be awesome. Egad from the Luigi's Mansion, or just, you know, Polterpup, Gooigi. There's a lot of characters that they could pull from these other franchises, and it feels like Nintendo's just trying to forget about them or just stay clear of them. And I wonder if it's like a continuity thing. I mean, I could make a whole video on this and why Nintendo won't ever do this, but yeah, it feels like something that's maybe because they don't really see it as, you know, mainline canon, so they don't want to mix those characters in with mainline canon characters. But it is just weird to see a Sting Bee, a Coin Coffer, and a Swooper as drivable racers, but none of these really cool fleshed out side characters from these RPG games. It actually is kind of frustrating. One thing I really wonder now is, are we going to be getting other Nintendo franchise characters like we got in Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? Clearly out the gate, no, but that doesn't mean we can't eventually get DLC or some type of, you know, additional add-on, maybe adding a new island of just nothing but other Nintendo characters coming to race would be awesome. I mean, we're literally getting Kirby Air Riders coming for Nintendo Switch, so why not throw Kirby in there? I can't believe Kirby hasn't made it into Mario Kart yet, but some of the other characters could help advertise their games, like Samus for Metroid, Fox for Star Fox, and that's just some of them. I mean, there's so many. Like Captain Falcon had a Blue Falcon and 2 racetracks in Mario Kart 8 and didn't get added as a playable character. So I wouldn't mind adding a couple of them to flesh out this roster even more, even if it's paid DLC, which I don't even want to talk about right now with the price of the game already being $80. It's ridiculous. But I want to go back to that image of the confirmed characters one more time. And what's the thing that you notice about pretty much every new character? It's either this super small side character from a game, or mostly just enemies from some of those franchises that Nintendo deems to be kind of main staple. And when I say main staple, I'm not talking about something like Galaxy or not even Odyssey. Something like 3D World, where these characters and enemies are reappearing in multiple Nintendo projects. Like we've seen Sting Bee return as even a boss battle in Mario Party Jamboree. So Mario 3D World is kind of looked at from Nintendo as like the Mario game to pull content from. So what other enemies or side characters could we actually get in this game if we look at it in that standpoint? I can 100% see Buzzy Beetle making the cut, or maybe a Spiny. It's one of those characters and enemies that's been around since the very beginning of time, and one of the few that are still missing from like the classic Mario games. We have Hammer Bro. I could see them even pulling out the other ones, but they might be alternate colors like Boomerang Bro, Fire Bro. So maybe they pull out the Sledge Bro, which is just a lot bigger version of the Hammer Bro, or maybe even a Lava Bubble or Podoboo. This seems extremely strange, but once again, we have characters that don't even have hands like the Snowman, and don't even mention the Goomba. For Mario World, we could see the Galoombas make a return, which literally could just be an alt for Goomba. I'd be fine with that. And what about Rex, or maybe one of the other dinosaurs like Reznor from Super Mario World could make a return as well. I could definitely see that happening, kind of looking like Yoshi. Mario 64 can have a lot of character representation. You can have the Scuttlebugs, which actually returns in some new Super Mario Bros. Games like New Super Mario Bros. 2 in the jungle area. We also have the Bullies, which return in Mario 3D World. You have Mr. I, which is so strange, but once again, something Nintendo would do with this game. And maybe even the piano. Okay, I'm kidding about this one. Kind of. Who knows? At this point, literally, who knows? Here's some more completely random ones that Nintendo would probably work in as characters. We have the Ant Troopers from Mario 3D World, the Skip Squeaks from 3D World as well. They can throw back in the Fuzzies or maybe even the Waddle Wings from New Super Mario Bros. What's also interesting is the Shy Guy Bazaar stage, or at least the area around there, seems to have the enemies from Mario Land. Yeah, I'm talking about the Toko Toko Moai statues, which is so strange, but it's also making me wonder, are they going to be playable characters too? Because a lot of the stages that have emblems of enemies, pretty much every single one so far is a playable character, even the conch doors which appear on one of the stages. So honestly, who knows? Nintendo could add tons of new characters. It's impossible to say, and any enemy is fair game, looks like, from Nintendo, or really any side character as well. So we'll see if there's only 50 characters in this game, or if there's a lot more that Nintendo's going to reveal to us, but we'll probably learn even more information in a couple of weeks for the Nintendo Direct focused on Mario Kart World. Let me know down below which of these 50 characters is going to be your main. I really like the Snowman, the Dolphin, and I love my boy Hammer Bros, so I'm glad to have them back. And any of the other characters, it's actually going to convince me to play somebody other than Mario, where I normally always just play Mario. But let me know in the comments down below who's going to be your main, and what other character would you like to see added to the roster. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Mario Kart World, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See you guys.